The Skeleton and Muscles, Section 1, How the Body Works. Lesson Objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will need to demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the major bones in the human body, the functions of the skeleton, the structures of the skeleton, the location of the main skeletal muscles, the functions of the muscular system, and the structures of the muscular system. Let's begin with the skeletal system. The skeleton has three primary functions. The first of those, perhaps the most obvious, is motion. The various bones of the body, particularly those in our limbs, meet together with other bones to form joints. These joints provide a central pivot point for where the bones can turn and move one upon another. This type of movement creates a system of levers, allowing the legs, the arms, and other parts of the body to move around. When we apply those correctly in a coordinated manner, that allows for motion like walking, running, jumping, hopping, and the like. Secondly, our skeleton provides an important anchoring surface for where muscles can connect or attach to. This is important because muscles generate a contractual force, pulling upon the bones to create the movement we spoke about in point number 1. Third, we have protection. Certain structures within the skeleton provide an element of protection. For example, the skull encases the brain. The brain is a soft, easily damaged tissue, and therefore this hard surface of the skull protects the brain from damage. The ribs form a cage around the lungs and the heart, other vital organs essential for our living, and therefore the skeleton has been formed in such a way to protect these very important vital organs. The skeleton is divided into two primary divisions, highlighted here by the colors red and blue. The red section is known as the axial skeleton. That word axial is derived from the term axis, which is a central turning point. Therefore, the axial skeleton is the central point for which the limbs are attached to. Now, specifically, we are referring to the skull, the vertebral column or spine, and of course the rib cage. The blue section is known as the appendicular skeleton, and that is because it contains our appendages, or our arms and legs. These limbs help to generate movement, and they contain specifically the shoulder girdle, the arms and hands, the pelvis, and legs and feet. Before we move any further, let's look at some of the major bones of the body so that we can become more familiar with the correct terminology. First and foremost, at the top we have the skull. The technical or anatomical name is the cranium. The skull protects the brain and also provides a place for the eyes, the ears, the nose, and mouth. In the upper half of the body, we have the clavicle across the front between the neck and the shoulder. Sometimes we call this the collarbone. Down the center of the chest, we have a flat bone called the sternum. Wrapping around the spinal column, protecting our lungs and heart, are the ribs, also known as the costal bones. At the back of the shoulder, providing a flat surface for which many muscles can attach, is a bone called the scapula, sometimes known as the shoulder blade. The long bone in the upper arm is called the humerus. This humerus meets with the bones in the lower arm. There are two of them, known as the ulna, which forms the elbow, and the radius. That's the bone on the same side as the thumb. Looking to the hand, we have a series of 8 short bones called the carpals. In the palm of the hand, there are 5 smaller bones that are long in shape called the metacarpals. And then down in the fingers, the digits that make up our fingers, we have 14 small bones called the phalanges. As we look to the back, the main central bone from which most things hang off is called the vertebral column. It's a series of 33 bones that form a central long spine. It also helps to connect the upper body to the lower body. The central bone for which the lower body is attached to is called the pelvis. As we move into the legs, the main bone in the upper thigh is known as the femur. It connects at the knee joint with the bones below called the tibia, sometimes known as the shin bone, and the smaller fibula that helps to form and stabilize the ankle joint. When we look at the feet, we have a similar structure to the hands. We have a series of 7 or 8 small bones that form the ankle joint and heel called the tarsals. These tarsals meet with 5 metatarsals that make up the central portion of the foot. And then down in our toes, we have 14 small bones called the phalanges, just like in the hands. An easy way to remember the hands and feet is that we drive the car with our carpals on the steering wheel, and we walk on the tarmac or the ground with the tarsals in our feet. So car, carpals, hands, tarmac, feet.